James Gunn, you did it again. Now, this has been my most anticipated film for the last 2 years now, since before Guardians 3 even came out, the second that James Gunn was announced to take over the DCU, and he announced he was going to write and direct Superman as his first film of the DCU, I couldn't have been more excited. My expectations couldn't have been higher going into this movie. Now, did it live up to my expectations? Yes and no. Yes, because it 100% was a great movie. First and foremost, let's start right there. No, because my expectations were so insanely high that I don't think any sort of height could have really reached it, and that is more my fault than the movie's fault. Now, I'm going to say also, I really have no negatives to say about this movie. My biggest negative is myself. Like I said, not just because expectations, but also I had to go pee for the last 35-40 minutes of the movie, and that was driving me nuts almost pretty much the entire final act of the movie. So I want to say, right off the bat, I can't wait to see this movie again, to see it in full experience without going through that physical problem. And I couldn't be more mad that the movie I've been most anticipated for over 2 years, that happens to me. But enough of that, enough about my bladder, time to talk about the movie. I am someone that has never been that big of a Superman fan. I've never thought he was cool. I always thought the fact that he's more powerful than everyone else, never found him that quite interesting. I used to make fun of the fact that, oh, he puts on glasses and people aren't supposed to recognize who he is. All the tropes of Superman I've never been that big a fan of. But from the moment that James Gunn was announced to take over DCU and make a Superman film, I thought that if anyone can make me a fan of Superman, it's James Gunn. I love the Guardians of the Galaxy. I love that entire trilogy. I love the Suicide Squad. If anyone was going to make me a Superman fan, it would be James Gunn. And I was right. I loved this movie. I thought David Cornsweet was phenomenal as Superman. The bright, vibrant colors. It was perfect for this time, especially after, no offense to Henry Cavill and all the Zack Snyder fans that love his iteration, right? It's fine, it's cool if you like his version, but especially the movie Man of Steel itself, it is not a proper version of the character. It has Superman elements, sure, but it's very dark and gray paleted. It's very, Batman-esque, and it's more of a messianic kind of figure in that version of Superman. This Superman is colorful, he's vibrant, he's more whimsical, more hopeful, he's more on par of what Superman is supposed to be. I'm also someone who doesn't really care for origin stories, so I love the fact that James Gunn said, we are not going to do that. We're just going to put you right in the middle of the action of this world, and you're just going to have to pick up the pieces along the way. They established some stuff in the beginning of the movie saying the time zone of where we're at, and it's essentially 3 years after Superman has kind of revealed himself on Earth, I believe, is what they said in the beginning of the movie. And he faces his biggest test of them all, and is the first time he is defeated, is the opening start of this movie, letting us know that Superman has been very powerful amongst everyone for a while, but this is the first time he's going to be challenged. That already sets the standard of Superman is in for a ride, this movie, and so are we as an audience. One thing I never got either in the past was, how can Superman's main villain, Lex Luthor, be that much of a threat when he is a human and Superman is so much more powerful, etc., etc. Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor is a tremendous villain. He is evil. He is just rotten. He's such a bad human being, but he is intelligent, and he does everything in his power to not only show his hatred and what he can bring to the table intellectually to stop Superman, and really makes you believe why and how, based off David Cornsweet's version of Superman and Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor, why he would be able to trick Superman, outsmart him, and actually give him a run for his money and make it seem like Actually, in fact, most of the movie I said, how is Superman supposed to stop Lex Luthor and his plan? Because his plan is so elaborate. Now I'm going to stop you right now and let you know there will be spoilers from here on out. So if you haven't seen the movie, make sure to subscribe, come back, and watch this video after you watch the movie, because I just want to get into it. And I'm not going to say I'm going to go into every in-depth detail, but if I slip out some spoilers, I just want to give out some warnings now in case you are taken back on not me giving you a warning. So again, you are warned. I thought Crypto was really fun in the movie. I thought his powers, the way they utilize him throughout the movie was really funny, really charming. Again, spoilers, I didn't realize that John Cena's Peacemaker was gonna make an appearance. That was a funny little gag. Not even gag, but just letting us know that he is a part of this universe. Peacemaker is a part of it. Now, I'm still kind of iffy on the details of what that means. I have to look into it. I heard Peacemaker Season 1 doesn't count, but maybe Season 2 does. Does the Suicide Squad count? I do not know. All I know is that John Cena is great as Peacemaker, and James Gunn clearly wants him to still be a part of his universe. Now, when it comes to our Justice Gang, I don't know what that is in the comics. I don't know if this is just a tease for the Justice League. Or maybe it's another team, and it's just something that is not fully the Justice League yet. But the Justice Gang, which consists of Hawkgirl, Green Lantern, Guy Gardner's version, and Mr. Terrific, and later Metamorpho will join, and Superman, etc., etc. Green Lantern's very funny, a very comedic character in this movie. Mr. Terrific has a lot more to do in this movie, and you get to see his powers and his intellect used throughout the movie as probably the best benefit and help to Superman. I never really knew who Mr. Terrific was before this movie, but I'm definitely intrigued by his character, and I'm looking forward to seeing him more in the future. I thought Hawkgirl is cool. I think the actress that plays her is beautiful. We don't really get to see much of her though, but again, this movie is not about them, it's about Superman, and they were just pieces of the puzzle to be a part of the story. It's not convoluted, it is still a Superman-centric story, but it just shows you that this world does have other heroes living in it, and it is a very wide range world. It is different from the Marvel world in the sense where DC characters are a lot more fantastical and more power natured compared to Marvel, where most of them are basically humans or agents or, maybe super soldier serum. I mean, you have gods like Thor and Loki, etc. But this is going to show you that DC is a lot more fantastical in nature. Jimmy Olsen was pretty funny. He is a ladies' man. I didn't know that as him as a character. I'm not a big Superman lore fan. I've known who the Jimmy Olsen character was to some degree, but I didn't know he had W-Riz like that, and that plays a huge factor story-wise throughout the movie. Without his ability to essentially riz up females, we actually might not even defeat Lex Luthor or save Superman when Superman is in deep trouble. The music, the score, the action, all of it is phenomenal. It's fun, it's whimsical, it's vibrant. As I said before, David Cornsweet is Superman. He embodies Superman so well. I love Lois Lane in this movie. I love all the characters. I think they all do such a great job, and I think Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor is already one of the best villains I've ever seen. Now you might say, Blake, that's a bold statement. One of the best villains you've ever seen. Now I don't know exactly on that scale where that is. I would have to watch it again to really solidify things. He's not like Heath Ledger's Joker or William Dafoe's Green Goblin or anything like that, but he is a great startup villain for the DC universe. Lex Luthor is an iconic villain, and Nicholas Hoult plays him so well. He's such a great actor. He's been great in almost everything I've ever seen him in, but what's great about his villain, and why I say he's one of the best villains in general, is because there's a lot of villains that are great villains. Like Heath Ledger is a great villain, right? But he's almost so good that you love him. What's great about Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor is you hate him. William Dafoe's Green Goblin, he is an amazing villain, but he's so cool that you love him at the same time. Lex Luthor in this movie, he is just a bad guy. He is a villain, first and foremost. The entire movie, you hate him, and you continue to hate him throughout the movie. And that's something that's missing in a lot of these comic book movie, superhero movie villains, is that sometimes the villains are so cool or have so much aura that sometimes we can like the villain more than the hero. Thanos, a villain that people absolutely love. Not saying that people won't love Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor. They might still love him because he's a great villain. Like I said, I thought he was great as a villain, and I do love the character. But you hate him in this movie and you want him to lose. You get sick of him when he's getting angry and going on his rants and just showing his pure, just evil to Superman and the world in general just for his cause, right? And doesn't care about the destruction that's in his path. And the fact that he's human too and he's able to do all these things makes him that much worse. It's almost like in the way where the High Evolutionary in Guardians 3, great villain, but you hate that guy. You know he is evil because High Evolutionary does some really, really wicked things. Lex Luthor does the same thing in this movie. Heck, just like in Guardians 3, in this movie, Crypto semi gets tortured to some degree. He's not afraid to go after animals, children, anybody. Lex Luthor is evil. But yes, this movie is really, really good. I might make another review of this movie after rewatch because I can see this movie even elevating even more for me. And I'm sure there's topics within the movie that I can explore and would love to talk about with you guys. As of today, I am rating this movie a 4.5 out of 5. So, really high on my scale, even with bladder issues in the final act. I also have to say that the main muscle that was going after Superman the whole movie, that were like, why is this guy giving him so much trouble? I was wondering in the back of my head, like, who is this guy? How is he so strong? We find out that Lex Luthor made a clone of Superman, and it was essentially him. And Lex Luthor, like I said, so intellectual, had studied Superman's fight patterns for years, and then was able to put that mechanism in the clone version, so it had the same strength and powers and ability as Superman, but was able to think ahead his every move and direction. And that's why Superman had so much trouble winning majority of the movie. But Superman was able to outsmart Lex Luthor. He realized that it was brains over bronze, just like Lex Luthor said, and had Crypto help him defeat Lex Luthor. I just love how James Gunn makes comic book movies. I wish it was humanly possible for James Gunn to make every superhero movie. I know it's not because he doesn't have the time to do all that, right? Nobody does. He can't make every movie at once. I wish he could, but I trust James Gunn. I trust his vision, and I'm so excited for the future of the DCU. We got a teaser towards the end of Supergirl being in this movie and finding out that that was her dog. Crypto was her dog, and it was teased at the beginning of the movie that he was just fostering this dog. So maybe we're going to learn in the Supergirl movie more of the origins of Crypto, which could be fun. Either way, I am so on board for DCU. We are off to such a great start. Thanks to James Gunn. I am so excited for the possibility of a Flash in this universe and a Batman in this universe. Those are some of my favorite DC characters. I'm excited for Wonder Woman too. All those guys, right? It's gonna be awesome. I'm so excited for it. James Gunn, keep cooking, man, because DC is gonna be special. So those are just my thoughts. Leave a comment down below. What did you think of James Gunn Superman? Did you love it? Did it live up to your hype? Were you disappointed? Are you a Snyder cult fan who's gonna comment down below? I hate this movie with all your guts. Let's talk about it. Please be respectful in the comments, no matter which way you are leaning. It's okay if you dislike this movie. We all have different opinions. To me, I thought this movie was pretty awesome and pretty cool, and I am so excited to watch it again. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to make more DC content in the future. I am thinking of making a James Gunn ranking video. All his comic book movie or superhero movies. Now that he has a good collection of them now. I rewatched a couple of the Guardians movies and the Suicide Squad in preparation for James Gunn Superman. So I'm going to make a ranking video. So if you want to see that, it should be a fun ranking video considering all his movies are pretty good at this point. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm out.